Hey guys, we're Megan and Matt and this is our beautiful van Leo. We've been traveling through Australia now for 4 months and we thought it's time to show you our beautiful van.
Leo is a 2019 Fiat Ducato long wheelbase that we had custom made with Phil Lewis from Tiny Home Campervans. Phil was absolutely fantastic during the build and let us make all the decisions, and it far exceeded all of our expectations.
Love you, Phil. Let's show you the van.
Hi there. We thought we'd start first at the kitchen, and one of the places that we absolutely love the most in our van is the kitchen countertop. It's made of golden cypress timber and it's one continuous slab. So I really love that when you pop up the pop top, you can see all of the grain that continues throughout the whole bench top. We actually got this from a place in Brisbane called Natural Edge Timber, and there was big slabs on the wall and we actually picked this out for our van. So that was a great experience and it just adds such texture and color to the kitchen area. Part of the kitchen countertop is also the sink insert, which is obviously out of that same slab. We can easily remove it like this. We also chose to go for a full-size sink because we wanted a sink where we can put all of our pots and pans and it's never an issue to wash everything up. We're really happy with our choice. So moving from this side of the kitchen countertop to the other is probably the most important thing in the van, for me at least. And that is my Smeg coffee machine, which has been awesome to have on the road, and I can wake up every morning to a nice coffee. Even though it uses quite a lot of power, it's only used for a couple of minutes every morning, so we really don't notice any power draw. You'll notice also that it's sitting on a basket. The reason for that is so that when we're driving, that it doesn't go anywhere. We need to put a few ornaments on the basket so that it weighs it down with a bit of weight, and we've also got a non-slip mat underneath. We've been on corrugated roads, dirt roads, and it's never fallen down or really moved anywhere, so it's very effective. Again, we have the golden cypress on the other side. We also have a splash of color with our tiles. Those really aren't needed there because we don't have much water over this side, but I think it just adds a nice splash of color. We've also been collecting magnets on our 4-month trip around Australia, which will be added to our European magnets for when we lived in Germany for 4 years. We have a pin map of Australia for all the places that we have been to so far. An interesting thing is also behind this wall is all the plumbing for the shower. So if we have anything leak or anything going wrong with the shower, we can easily remove this panel and access all the plumbing for the shower. So that's the kitchen, but you're probably now wondering, where do you actually cook? And that's where our induction cooktops come in. Since we've chosen to go all electric in the van, we don't have any gas or propane. We use electric cooktops. So these are our portable induction cooktops. They simply plug into any of our power sockets in the van. We have 2, but generally we just use 1. Part of the reason is to maximize the bench space because you're cutting up, washing things, and we've just found that using 1 is a bit more practical. The other reason that we have portable induction cooktops and we don't have them built into the countertop is just in case something happens and they break, it's super easy just to replace the portable ones. You don't need to take it out and install it back in and find a like-for-like replacement. We love having them. We would highly recommend them to anyone, and the best thing about them is they're also cheap. Here we have our shower, which is actually one thing that we debated a lot about, whether we actually need a shower and whether we could get away with just using beach showers and taking an occasional stay in a caravan park. But now that we've been living in the van for 4 months and we have a shower, we are so happy that we actually have one. It's a full-size shower. Again, we've continued the gold brass fixtures and fitting, and also the shower rail, which is sort of like a pipe furniture style. We actually went for a shower curtain rather than a retractable door. The benefits of the shower curtain is that you can change it, you can wash it, and it actually gives you a little bit more elbow space because we put the shower rail outside the shower. Another feature of the shower that we really like is that we put 3 hooks in the shower. Trust me, you need as many hooks in the van as you can. We'll probably say that many times, but we have 3 hooks in the shower for our towels and our bath mat, And we even have this little turtle outside the shower for beach towels and clothes that we wear to the beach. Another good feature is that we have the switch to the water just around the corner from the shower. And the reason why it's there is because if you get in the shower, you're about to have a shower and you forgot to turn the water on, you don't want to be getting out, putting your towel back on and finding the switch for the water. If we forget to turn the water on, we can reach around, turn it on, and we're ready to have a shower. We also installed a fan and light combination. It just turns on this switch here. The other thing that we have in our shower is our Thetford porta potty. And upon reflection, after traveling for 4 months around Australia, we probably would prefer to have a composting toilet, but that's not really practical in a van this size with a shower this size, since a compostable toilet is a bit harder to take in and out. Whereas the porta potty, whenever we want to have a shower, we can just take it in and out and it's all good to go.
Okay, let's talk about storage. That's definitely something I was a little bit worried about before we moved into the van, but we actually fit everything really easily. We have 3 drawers here. We have our cutlery, our plates and mugs, and our biggest drawer, which fits our pots, our Tupperware, and some food. Okay. And then under the sink, we have our lids, our cleaning products, and our bin, which has a lid as well, which is really important to keep the smell out. And then over the other side, we have our fridge, which is an 85-litre King's fridge freezer. We have a small freezer in there, which we're really happy to have. We've had some really hot days and it's great to have some ice blocks. We probably would have gone for a bit of a bigger size if we could do it again, but it has been fine overall. And then this is probably my favorite part in the kitchen, not the whole van, just the kitchen. This is our pull-out pantry. It looks quite small, but it actually fits all of our groceries, all of our spices, spreads, pasta, rice, all of your sort of everyday cooking items. And then our overhead cupboards. Let's start with this one. We have our toasty maker because toasties are life for us. We always have toasties, so we had to bring it. We have our teas, supplements, and a few other mugs and cups. And then over this side, we have some more plates, bowls, and then we store some of our veggies and fruit up here as well. And then we have our Simmarine battery monitor, which shows us how full our batteries are, our water tanks, and we turn on our inverter on here as well. But we'll talk about the battery system later in the video, so stay tuned. And then this overhead cupboard is above the cab. It's actually a bit tricky to sort of get into, so we just store a few random things in there. Our Dyson, our doona for colder nights, which we haven't really had, our fly net, and then also our board games are in there because we love a good board game, so they had to come. Also, learn from our mistakes. Don't put any glasses in overhead cupboards because they tend to fall out and then shatter all over the countertop, so don't do that. Our handles on our drawers are from RV Labs. They're specifically made for camper vans. They have a locking mechanism that prevents them from opening while we're driving, which is really important. And then the remaining handles on our doors and our overhead cupboards are from ABI Interior, which fit really nicely with the RV Labs handles. And then hooks. Trust me when I say you want as many hooks as possible in the van. Obviously where it makes sense, but try to get as many as you can. There's always something that you want to hang up. You have wet towels and so on. We have 5 hooks in the van and then plus 3 in the shower. And it was actually quite fun to find unique hooks and go to different boutiques leading up to moving into the van. And we found some really unique hooks that we really like. Adds a bit of character to the van as well. Now about the overhead cupboards, we could have gone bigger and deeper as well, but we decided against it. We really wanted the van to feel as open as possible and for it to flow as much as it can. And we're actually really happy with that decision. The storage is honestly fine. Like, we really don't need much more. And yeah, it just makes it really open. Now, the kitchen cabinets and all of the doors in the van are just from IKEA. The main reason for that is just in case something breaks while you're on the road, you can just easily replace it. But we haven't had any issues so far, so far so good.
So I also wanted to talk to you about the lights and the ventilation that we have in the van. We have 3 main downlights in the kitchen area, but we also have some underneath the overhead storage cabinets. So we have one here, we have one on this side, plus we also have some fairy lights that wrap around the top edges of the van. The fairy lights are probably the lights that we use most in the van. They're not a very strong light, but it's enough usually at night when we're eating dinner that we can see everything fine, and it just provides a nice little warm light. As far as the ventilation, we only have one window on the side of the van, which is over here. This window can be adjusted out on 2 different settings. It also has a fly screen and a window cover. These are absolute essentials. If you're going to put a window in a van, you definitely want to have a fly screen at a bare minimum. But the other one is absolutely fantastic for people not seeing in at night, and also giving you that little sense of security and feeling like you're in your own little tiny home bubble. We know that this is a smaller window, but now that we've actually been living in the van, we're really happy with it, because the bigger windows that you have, the more you are kind of exposed as far as heat and temperatures. On each side of the bed, we have these nice reading lights here. The only other light that we have is good for dentists, and that's the light from the skylight, because it is so bright when you have it on, it feels like you're at the dentist. This is a Max Air Fan Deluxe, and it sucks air into the van or blows it out. It also has this cover which hooks in like that. It can go on a number of settings, and I would highly recommend a Max Air fan if you don't have one. The other thing that's great for ventilation is our Sirocco 2 360 fans. We have 2 of these Sirocco fans in our van, one on the left side and one on the right. So at night we can have these on, and they even have sleep timers, which is good for when you are going to sleep and you don't want to have them running all night. So aside from our Sirocco 360 degree fans, we also have another piece of ventilation and also light source, which is our skylight. And when we were thinking about the layout of the van, we watched a lot of Max and Oki when he was doing his latest van build, and he loved to talk about his skylight and how big his skylight was. And he always said skylight like this. So we have our own skylight, and it's great because it has this cover at night, and it also has a fly screen, and you can just have it also completely open. This is our seating area in the van, which we use all the time. We're so glad that we actually decided to have a seating area.
When we first thought about the layout of the van, we thought to have a pull-out table that pulls out here, which we've seen a lot of people do, but Phil recommended this lagoon mount table, which we're really happy with. It easily slides across, and when we have dinner and the table is all set but we forgot something, we can just easily go out, grab it, and yeah, super happy with that.
And if you're wondering what this is a resin element that Phil added in as a surprise to us, which is fantastic. It's kind of like a live edge that we can see through, and I think it really adds a bit of texture, color, character to the van, and it's really cool.
She's pretty! We decided to go with wide boucle seat covers, which you might think is a risky choice, but it actually hasn't been too bad. We had a few minor spills, but they are washable, so it honestly has been fine. And I really fell in love with the boucle fabric, so yeah, I'm glad we went with it.
And they're so comfortable.
Yeah.
So we store all of our clothes under our seats. We have Megan's side and my side. We actually always debate about who has the better system for storing their clothes. So I'll show you how deep these cupboards are.
Sorry, we didn't mean to scare you, but we just wanted to show you how big those are.
So comfortable?
No, not really. They're not that big. Okay, this is my system. I have these packing cubes and I've labeled them all, and they just unzip and stack really nicely as well. How neat is that? Okay, he's tidying up his area because clearly it's not a good system, just letting you know.
Okay, now this is my super simple system. All I've got is my shirts over here, shorts, singlets, under there is rashies and socks, and my underwear here. Underneath all of that are my jumpers. I don't need them that often, so they're underneath everything. simple, so much better.
Mine is definitely better. I disagree with you.
Fake news. And let us know in the comments which storage system you think is the best. And that now brings us to our bed, which is currently in the day bed position. And when we want to go to bed at night, what we do is we actually pull this over the chairs, and that forms a full-size bed. We sleep north to south, and that's about 185 centimeters. Obviously not as comfortable as if you would have a permanent bed with a regular mattress, but for a van this size, you can't really fit a full-size bed and have a sitting area as well. So we think this is a great compromise, and the layout works excellent for us. We can hop up on the day bed during the day and read a book and look out onto the ocean, and we can also sit here and have a meal at lunch, and it just works perfectly for us, and I'd highly recommend it for you. And I'll show you now how we actually turn the bed from a day bed into our regular bed at night, and maybe we can also time it to see how long it takes.
Okay, time starts now. Go! Okay, table needs to come down first. You're only at 50 seconds. Wow! 1 minute 20!
Not too bad.
Do you need a nap now?
Yeah.
And just wanted to quickly show you our mattress topper situation. We had these custom made, and they just strap on over the corners, so you don't have to make the bed every night.
And you don't feel the seat cushions, the boucle, it just folds over everything nicely.
Yeah. You gonna have your nap now?
Yeah, good night.
You may have noticed this opening. Ideally, we would have liked a walk through here, but our car came with the 3 seats that we really didn't want to take out. So we opted for this opening. If we take the headrest off, we can climb through here, just in case of emergencies, and if we have to just quickly drive off. Hasn't really happened, but it's just nice to have. And then this doubles as a projector screen for movie nights, but then also just adds a bit more privacy so no one can look through from the outside in.
On the outside of the van, we got a custom-made roof rack that was fabricated from SMF Fabrications in Ormiston, Brisbane. This roof rack connects directly to the T-bolts that are on top of a Fiat Ducato and allows us to have 3 200-watt solar panels, a max air fan, and a big skylight, which is awesome. On the side as well, we've got an awning. It's a Thule Omnistra 4-meter awning, and it's super easy to take out, and we use it whenever we are at a caravan park. We haven't used it all the time because quite often we're free camping, but when we have used it, it only takes 30 seconds to set up and we're all good. On the roof, we have our Starlink. We actually bought a specific RV mount for our Starlink. It goes up on the roof and we put the cords through the skylight, and it works really well. If you're thinking about Starlink and you're in a van, it is an absolute essential, especially when you're in remote locations or if you're actually working on the road. It's super reliable, very fast, and yeah, it is a little bit expensive, but you don't have to be parking near a supermarket in order to get Wi-Fi or mobile data. In Australia, we don't have coverage everywhere, and Starlink solves that problem. Okay, now we are entering my domain, which is the garage. We have heaps of storage here in the back, but a key thing that I love is that I can fit 2 of my surfboards underneath here. They get stored away in the van, so I'm not worried about strapping them on the roof or anything like that. They just get put away in there, and they're easy just to take in and out. Now, as you can see, we're in the garage, and boy, isn't there a lot of space in here. But the best part is obviously our electrical system. So we have two 200 amp hour slimline lithium batteries from Enerdrive, and they mount directly onto the wall and don't take up too much space, which is awesome. They've been super reliable so far, and enough battery powered storage that we rarely need to plug in to charge. So how do we keep these batteries full? So we have a multi-stage inverter, 60 amps, which we can plug directly into a power socket, and we rarely even need to plug in. We rarely go to caravan parks or anything like that. And the reason for that is we've got a 40 amp hour DC to DC charger, which connects the battery system to the alternator. So when we're driving, we're getting power. We've also got a separate MPPT solar controller. So we get solar when we drive, and we also get the DC to DC power. On the roof, as I mentioned before, we've got 3 200-watt solar panels. All the products are from Enerdrive and just work really well together. In order to use regular appliances, we obviously needed an inverter, and we've got a 200-watt with a transfer switch, and that runs all of our appliances, no troubles. I know that you can get bigger ones, but the bigger inverter that you get, the more power that you use, so 2000 has been sufficient for us. On the walls, we have this great product that Phil found called Hexagrid, and it's sort of this rough material that you can chuck surfboards in and other storage things and it doesn't scratch. We've got marine ply carpet on the floor, and that's been great because it doesn't really get dirty, and if you spill a little bit of water, that's okay. The plug where we actually put our water in is just down here. So we actually don't have an externally accessible point for our water, but we think the less holes in the van, the better. The other thing that we've got here, which is a nice feature, is a little power outlet plug here. So if we were to get a second fridge where we can just put drinks in or something, we can connect it simply through there. On the other side here, we've obviously got our second 200 amp hour battery. We've also got behind this Hexagrid wall is our water heater. So this is a Duetto Mark II water heater. It can be heated up on 24 or 12 volts. Usually we do the 24 volt because that's a lot quicker. It takes about half an hour to heat the water up, so about 30 minutes before we get to where we're going, if we're driving somewhere, we'll just quickly turn the water heater on and we'll know that when we arrive, we've got hot water for a shower. We can also use the 12 volt, it just takes a little bit longer. We can have it on throughout the day if we're getting lots of solar power. We've also got lights in here in the back on either side, so at night we can see everything. Going electric has been fantastic, would totally recommend it. We didn't know whether it would be enough for having a shower, cooking and everything like that, but this setup has been completely off-grid since the first time we pretty much left 4 months ago. If we ever do get low on power, we can always go for a little bit of a drive, but hasn't happened so far, so far so good.
And that concludes our van tour. We really hope you liked it as much as we do. We really love our van. We still have to pinch ourselves sometimes, so this is our home. And yeah.
And if you have any questions about if you're building your own van and you're considering different layouts, or like us going all electric rather than gas or propane, let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you would want in a perfect van if you had your ideal van. I know next time we would maybe want a little bit more space, but yeah. I think for the size of the van, we've definitely tried to utilize as much of the space as we can, and it's very livable. If you also enjoyed the video, we do lots of travel vlogs and we'd love to have you as a subscriber. We're just building our channel.
Also let us know who won the competition, who has the better storage compartment.